Hey, what is up guys? This is Griefdrums back again, and this time we are going to be taking a look at some more tips and tricks on how to be successful on Rainbow Six Siege. So this is my third video on this. If you haven't seen my first two, make sure to check them out on my page. But today I wanted to look at how some elements and tactics have changed in the game and how this in turn has forced me to review some of the tips that I have mentioned previously. Now the first thing I want to take a look at is team composition. This was recently highlighted in the comments on one of my previous videos, and the dude was absolutely right. A lot of people have the characters that they like to use, and whilst I firmly believe that it is important to get to know the characters you use, it's also important to think about the team as a whole. By considering the way characters work together, you can provide a much stronger attack or defense. If you start the game with no thermite, you automatically reduce the number of entry points that you can breach a room from. If you don't take a Thatcher or a Twitch, you'll very often struggle to take out jammers and batteries that the defense may have set up. Before a round, pick the character that you want to play as, but don't be afraid to change this choice if you notice no one on the team has picked the more crucial players. Be the guy that your team needs. The next thing I want to look at is the sights in the game. Now, depending on the sight you choose to use, your playstyle should differ. Previously, the red dot and reflex sights were extremely poor due to the dot and the triangle being huge. This made these sights ridiculously inaccurate. Since the patch we got with the release of Dustline, we have seen a big change to these sights, which has reduced the size of the reticles, making them much more of a viable choice. If you choose to run with an ACOG, however, you need to be aware that your visibility will be a lot more limited in close quarters. If you're looking down the sight, your peripheral vision is limited by both the sight itself and the fact that you're zoomed in. Close quarters isn't ruled out completely, but if you have this kind of a scope, you can be more effective at distance. Try and engage the enemy at more medium range. Once you are up close though, a good technique is to keep jumping in and out of the aim, as you'll see some of the top players like Serenity do. A holographic sight can be effective at range due to its accuracy, but your view of a room can be somewhat limited when looking in through a window. You won't see into the room with the clarity that you might with an ACOG due to the lighting in the game. The trade-off, however, is that if you are in the building, you can see more of your peripherals with the holographic or reflex, which can allow you to assess the room better as you move through it. If you choose a close quarter sight, don't be afraid to take the fight to them, and if you're using an ACOG, don't be afraid to use the distance to your advantage. Hit and run tactics can be a huge help in this game. A single player can keep an entire enemy team on their toes by shooting in through a window on one side of the map and then pushing in on the other 10 seconds later. I've found myself in clutch situations before when attacking, in which I shot through the garage window on Hereford, killed someone, and then went through the window to the master bedroom. Because someone had called out that I was pushing the garage, as I came down the main stairs, people were just covering there, allowing for an easy kill. It's this hit and run that keeps them on their toes and can allow you the split-second advantage you need to kill people, and it can also work on both attack and defense. As you'll most likely know, headshots are huge in this game. Someone can have 3 armor plus Rook's body armor and still die from a single bullet to the head. When you see someone, aim for the head. This is something I cannot stress enough to people. Obviously, there's going to be situations where you can't see the head, and instead you'll only have a shot on somebody's stray arm or foot, but if they've made the mistake of exposing their head, try your hardest to shoot at that, not just at the person. By mastering this, you will win far more firefights. A good way to do this is by using the lean feature. If your head is at an angle, you'll notice that instead of the recoil causing a vertical line of bullets, it instead goes in more of a diagonal line. This can cause your bullets to stray across someone's face if you happen to be aiming too low. Next up is peeking. By now, everyone should know about the peeker's advantage. This is the split-second advantage you get when you move into view, as it can take a fraction of a time before your computer or console sending the signal is registered on your opponents. This advantage can work to your benefit to peek people and shoot them. When peeking, the best way to do this is to go out, see an enemy, come back into cover and set your sights where their head was. The next time you go out of cover, do not touch the right thumbstick, just strafe out, shoot and strafe back in. If your aim was off, readjust slightly and then try again if safe to do so. The door frames in this game are often made of wood, so you can shoot through them, so don't stop until you are well behind cover. As I mentioned in a previous video, it often pays to start shooting before you even leave cover, so by the time the enemy sees you, the bullets are already at their face. This is what is known as pre-firing. You'll often hear people talking about it. Don't be afraid to think outside of the box in this game. Verticality can be huge. A lot of people are used to games like COD in which everything is fought on a fairly level playing field, but in Rainbow you can attack from above, below, sideways, you name it. Very often a room will have a destructible roof or floor. This can allow attackers an advantage and is something I personally love to do. If you're attacking lockers on the map border, for example, by breaching the floor below with Ash and or Buck, you can automatically force the defenders to cluster together in one part of the room. By breaching the floor in this room, even if you don't get the kill, you can stop anyone from hiding behind this cover and in turn allow your team to enter the room unhindered. This can also work for defenders. If you're protecting the visa office on Consulate, you can shut down the entry from the double door by shotgunning open the roof above this door here. If Blackbeard comes in and his shield is facing the vending machine trying to kill someone there, it won't be pointing up towards you, allowing a clean and easy kill. The final tip for this video is going to be on the reloading and burst firing. If you've just killed someone with a short burst of gunfire and you still have 27 rounds in your magazine, you don't have to reload straight away. If you have 6 rounds left in the mag, then yeah, it's probably best to go for it. But remember, when you are reloading, you are at your most vulnerable. I can't tell you how many times I died when I first got this game due to making this mistake, as I'd often kill someone, start reloading only to bump into another guy straight away. While on the topic of reloading, if you burst fire your gun, you'll have less of a requirement to reload. On several guns in the game, by pressing up on the D-pad, you can change the fire mode on the weapon. Doc's MP5, for example, you have the option of fully automatic, 3-round burst, and single fire. As the name suggests, by putting this to 3-round burst, it'll only shoot 3 rounds every time you pull the trigger. This can be a really effective weapon in your arsenal, as after every 3 rounds, the gun will automatically recenter to your point of aim, allowing you to adjust it as opposed to your gun pointing up at the roof due to the recoil. Experiment with the guns on the operators you use, and see if they have burst fire. If they don't, whilst there are occasions when it can be good to act like Arnold Schwarzenegger and go mental, it's probably better to practice getting used to just tapping the trigger and not holding it down. Obviously, this list of tips and tricks isn't everything in the game. There are loads of others, and as I mentioned, some of them I've covered previously in other videos. Hopefully these ones will help you. If you're new to the game and looking at getting better, just keep practicing, stick with it, and think about what you're doing. Don't try and take people head on. Try and think a little bit differently and think outside of the box. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to beat the hell out of that like button. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe, as there's plenty more Rainbow Six content, as well as some other games coming up. Till next time, guys, stay reckless and relentless.